Hello beautiful, and thank you for watching. If you're like me who used to blame all my problems to my mother and used to feel sorry about myself because I was an orphan and I had nobody, and that my own relatives were mean to me, and that nobody really took care of me since I became alone at 12, then stick around because I have some really valuable life lessons to pass on that could help you with your own struggles. My father died when I was only 5 years old, and my mother left me to my grandparents' care. When my grandparents died when I was 12, I became alone in the world. None of my relatives offered their homes for me, and it's okay. I was very thankful for the couple who took me in and let me work for them so I could go to school. I never had a good relationship with my mother. She inflicted so much pain in my life from the very beginning. She denied I was not her daughter. Imagine how that feels when you are a 10-year-old girl and your aunt telling you all this. She denied I was her daughter again for the second time when she met a foreigner who became her husband. Imagine how that feels when you are with them and they would go for dinner and vacations with my sister, who claimed was her only daughter, and not me and my youngest sister because we were not part of the family. When I was only 7 years old, I overheard my mother telling my grandma that she hated me, as my face reminded her of my father who raped her. When she left me at my grandparents' care, I was only 5 years old, and for the next 2 years, I found my 5 years old, then 6 years old self sitting in the balcony right about the time when people get home from the city, hoping and praying that this would be the day my mother would come back home for me. For about 2 years, I did not miss a day, and one day she did come back, and I just couldn't believe it in my eyes that she was really with me. Then I got reminded again of her coldness. I could not remember even a single time that she gave me any love and affection, hugs and kisses, and told me she loved me. None of those I'd remember growing up. One of my friends posted on Facebook one time to comment on their favorite dish that their mom makes for them, and it made me think for a while. And no matter how hard I thought, there's just none, because she never really took care of me. When she was here visiting me in the United States, I begged and begged to make me an adobo, Filipino style, and I had to beg for hours before she did it. I can't help but wish that my mother would be like the mothers of my friends here, who still serve and cook for their adult children, not because they have to, but because they love doing it out of love. There was a time when my mother left me when I was 12 years old for over a month to go spend time with a man who left her for years after impregnating her. The man was back in town, so she had to see him. I ran out of food, and for 2 weeks, all I ate was plantain. My uncle, who lived about a mile away, came and tried to take me to his house, but I refused because I was hoping every day that my mom would come back. The house was super clean. The grounds were swept every day because I wanted her to be pleased when she gets back, with the house being so neat and clean. I was always wanting to please her, and now in my adult life, I realized why I did that. Because all I wanted was just her love. The talk about my relationship with my mother is still up to this day the most sensitive topic. I hope that someday I will be able to talk about this experience without, tears in my eyes. When I was in college, I was in deep depression that I didn't even know I had. I never really heard of depression until I got here in the United States. I lost all intention to excel in school. I skipped a lot of classes. I was drinking alcohol and could care less about homework and tests. I felt like I was carrying a heavy load in my chest every day, and I was blaming my own mother to have caused it all. It didn't help that every time she called were all hurtful words like "you are a a burden, you are worthless, you are just like your father. That sent me deeper into my state. So if you are a parent watching this and you sense a change in behavior and performance in school on your kids, show them love. Don't judge. Shower them with loving words. Love is the most powerful thing in the world, and your kids need it now. You're their great support, their safest haven, but they won't know that if you don't show them. Sometimes just to be there for them, listening, hugging them is enough to reassure them you got their back and that your family is still their safest place. For the kids who blame their parents for everything, yes, blame them because they have caused you so much heartache, right? How dare them separate and now you have to live with a terrible stepmom or dad? How dare your father for leaving you and your mom for another woman? My parents work a lot and left me feeling unloved, or my single mother works 3 jobs and she barely has time for me. Okay, I hear you. Blame them. Blame them for everything. Blame your relatives for being mean. Blame your teachers, your coaches. Blame your cats and your neighbor's dog. But I can tell you right now, whatever you are doing, what you are going through, whatever you are going through, happens for you. I learned this from the amazing Tony Robbins. Life happens for you. And how true it is as I reflect with my own life. Because I so wanted to prove to my mother that I can live a successful life without her, that I am here in the United States striving and chasing goals after goals, having the best time of my life. I was vengeful. I was arrogant. I was this girl who looked at my mother in silence every time she hurt me and said to myself, "You watch." That anger that I was harboring for the longest time hurt me more as the time went by, because in reality, all I really wanted was my mother's love. And I still do. I long for her love. I long for our talks and maybe just having some wine together. I long for her hugs and kisses and her words telling me that she loves me. Because of my experience growing up without parents and being alone is the reason why my marriage survived during those difficult times. And I blame my experience of being alone growing up because that is something I will never let my own children go through. So my dear, I know you have struggles. We all do. I just want you to know that if I can turn back time, I won't be wasting my time feeling sorry for myself. I won't be resorting to alcohol to forget my struggles and skip classes because I was so down and nobody loved me. Learn from my mistakes and always remember, like Tony Robbins said, life happens for you. Always does. It's up to you to decide what to do when life happens. You can always make positive choices over non-productive, self-destructing ones to overcome your struggles. No more excuses. Get your butt up. Learn new skills. Take guitar lessons, serve your community, send cards to the lonely people in the nursing homes, whatever. Run a marathon. Take pole fitness lessons. That's what I'm doing right now. As for me, I am living the dream. I know that I still have things to settle with my mother, but I love her and she loves my children. If only she could pass some of that love to me, right? I became a strong, compassionate, ambitious person. I have houses, business, great cars, and high education, and most of all, a beautiful, good, loving family. And I blame my mother, my mean relatives, my tough childhood experiences for all the great things that I have now. Or let me rephrase that. I thank my mother, my mean relatives, and my tough childhood experiences for the beautiful person that I become and for the great life and for my great life now. Life happens for you. Think you and create your dream life.